There's a lot to be said for the deaf philosopher. That is, someone who doesn't listen to what people say, but watches what they do. The talk might be of emancipation of the working classes, but if the reality is of gulags and mass murders, then, we aren't really interested in the words. It's not what is said that matters. It is what's done, it's what happens in the real world. People might talk of freedom, but if the reality is of repression, which in socialist countries it always is, it is because in the real world people don't have the motives that socialists want them to have. And it's the real world that matters. It's not the empty rhetoric, it's not the promises, it's the results. We judge things by outputs, not by inputs. Tony Blair famously prioritised education, education, education. And what did he measure it by? He measured it by the amount spent on it, by the class sizes, by the amount spent improving school buildings. No! We want to measure it by whether the kids can read and write, whether they can pass exams. It's the results. Similarly, people talk of the NHS as if we're improving health by spending more money on it. No! We ask the question, do people diagnosed with illnesses have shorter or longer life expectancy than their counterparts in other developed countries? It's not the words, it's not the inputs, it's the outputs, it's the real world stuff. Some people like to listen to people like Chavez and Maduro in Venezuela, talking of enriching the lives of poorer people. The deaf philosopher just looks at the deprivation, the lack of basic supplies, the lack of medicines, the lack of food, and he or she looks at the Swiss bank accounts of cronies of the leaders and says, no, this doesn't work. We all know that an ounce of theory is worth a pound of practice, and it works in politics just as it does elsewhere. Don't listen to what they say, just look at what they do.